Are you curious about joining NEXA Mortgage? Whether you're still in the beginning phases of getting your LO license, or you just recently got it, or you are an experienced loan officer in the industry, if you're thinking about NEXA Mortgage as being a possible destination for you to partner up with and grow your loan officer business, and you're curious what it's actually like, then you've arrived to the right video. So first, let me welcome you to the channel. My name is Lor Vang. I am a local real estate agent with EXP in the greater Milwaukee area, and I am also a loan officer with NEXA. So at my channel, the mission is to help real estate agents go above and beyond just being a normal average agent. So my journey has been a little bit different. I started as a real estate agent, and then I made the transition to the loan officer world. And I am doing both right now, so I am dual licensed professional. So in this video, not only am I going to give you a breakdown on what's it like to be a brand new loan officer at NEXA, but I'm going to talk to you about my own personal experiences and what I like so far from being here. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Okay, so let me give you some backstory about myself so that you have some context, right, where I'm coming from. So I've been a licensed realtor for the past 6 years. In December 2024, when the market was kind of slow, right, in that winter lull, I decided to go ahead. That was the perfect time to take my courses and get licensed as a loan officer. And so that's what I ended up doing. And then I slowly learned the ropes during the beginning of the year, right, just in time to get ready for that spring buyer season as a loan officer and a realtor. And so timing wise, it worked out perfectly for me. Of course, being brand new to the industry, right? If you're looking at partnering up with your first mortgage brokerage, right? There are many questions, right? Is it the right brokerage for me? Will they have the support, the training, right? To get me up to speed to become not just a loan officer, but actually good at it, right? And so that was kind of the biggest question for me. And after I joined NEXA, right, I listened to the pitch and all that, which I'll explain a little bit here. But so far, everything has been really good and it's lived up to what they promise. Okay, so let's switch the conversation back to NEXA, right? Let me share with you some more information about the NEXA mortgage business model, what that looks like, and if it might be a good fit for you. So if you're familiar at all with EXP Realty and what their brokerage model looks like, it's internet-based, cloud-based, no physical buildings. Everything is done through the internet. And so this saves a lot on overhead. It allows for expansion into multiple states, multiple countries very quickly and easily. So in 2018, when the founders of NEXA started, they modeled their mortgage brokerage business right after EXP. Why not? EXP was the fastest growing, newest disruptor in the real estate industry, right? So watching their success and what they were able to do, NEXA duplicated it, right? And used it to build the mortgage brokerage company that would be also built in the internet. Now, this is where they kind of like differentiate, they separate right here. So EXP Realty has a metaverse campus, right? So kind of like a video game type of thing. Now, NEXA is built on the Zoom platform. So by the time that NEXA came about, Zoom had just launched, right? So Zoom was around. And so unlike EXP, where you have to go into a virtual world in order to interact with the office backend, things like that, HR, accounting, right? At NEXA, you just simply hop into a Zoom call with HR, hop into a Zoom call with accounting, with payroll, with your coaches, things like that. So if you need help from other loan officers, trainings, right? Corporate meetings, right? You just hop into a Zoom call versus going to a metaverse campus. So beyond the Zoom platform that ties everything in, that glues everything in for NEXA that they operate out of, all the loan officers, right, is loanofficersupport.com. So this is a portal where all the loan officers can go to operate their business from. And so here, as you can see, we come to the main page and we land directly where our lenders are showing. So right now, at this current point in time, we have 276 lender partners at NEXA, right? And so I am recording this on a Saturday. And so, as you can tell, most lenders, none of these are online. Now, if they were online, there would be a little button here that says live, and then you could just simply click on it and you would talk to your account executive at that lender, right? That they can help you, assist you, answer your scenario questions. Hey, I have a borrower with this type of financial profile. What loan programs would you advise I look into, right? So that's kind of where you can go. And then you can also come on here. And if you know what kind of loan program you want, right? Say you have an investor and you want to look at doing a DSCR loan, right? Which lenders are DSCR lenders? All right, so now we filtered from 276 to 98. And then of course, you have a specific state, right? So let's say you want to buy in Texas, your borrows in Texas, or your license in Texas as well. And then you can also set your FICO and your LTV, things like that, right? So once you filter down, now you see which lenders do that type of loan. So now you can go and talk to these specific lenders and figure things out from there. Other things that you can do in LOS is that you can go to the scenario coaches. So scenario coaches are here to support you. They support every single loan officer at NEXA, right? So right now there are 40 coaches right now that we have designated as coaches. And so these loan officers are experienced loan officers and many years in the industry. They're not brand new. Their role is to be available to answer questions to help loan officers at NEXA. And some of these coaches are university coaches, right? So NEXA University, they specifically are, they work as a coach for the NEXA University students. So what that means is if you're a brand new loan officer in the industry, right, no experience whatsoever, or even if you've been somewhere else, but maybe you think you haven't closed many loans at all, right? You weren't doing that great of business, right? If you end up joining NEXA, you haven't closed that much loans, then maybe you might want to go through the university program. So what they're going to do is basically coach you up from beginning, help you understand how do you calculate income, how do you take an application, right? How do you scrub an application? How do you run it through AUS? How do you read a credit report, right? Basically, how to run the loan from beginning to end. They're going to hold your hand. They're going to tell you which drop downs to, put in, what information to put in, how to get paid, right? You want to get paid and you want to do it correctly, right? How to lock loans. So that's their whole purpose of being here. And you can see some of these coaches are commercial specialists. So the ones with the commercial badges, right? You would specifically talk to them about any potential borrowers that do commercial, because let's be honest, residential and commercial are two different worlds. So that's something that we also do. We also do commercial loans. We can do up to 8-unit apartments. We can do business loans, SBA, that type of stuff. So it's all available in here. So to graduate out of the university, you have to close 6 loans, right? You close 6 loans and you can graduate out of the university. While you're in the university, of course, your coaches, they get compensated a little bit. They're not here to make money off of you, but they do earn a small percentage from your closings, right? So I believe it's something like 12 bips or 12 to 16 bips, I believe, of your commission, right? So not a whole lot, not, I think something very important to realize, whether you're brand new in anything, it's better to pay to learn how to do it properly, learn how to walk before you run, right? So Richard, he's a university leader, as you can tell there. So here's my coach, Michelle. She's awesome. She's 20 plus years in the industry, very direct. She'll tell you, hey, here's what you got to do to get paid. Okay. You want your loan to pass underwriting? Do this. All right. She's been around the block a lot, so she knows what she's doing. She's going to teach you how to do it correctly so that your files do not get rejected. Okay. So very cool. And then another thing I want to talk about real quick is processors at NEXA Mortgage. So NEXA, we don't do in-house processing. It's kind of frowned upon that loan officers do they don't do in-house processing just for legal things. But we are partnered with SMP, Secured Mortgage Processing. So here they have over 145 processors. And so you can come into this tab here, the processors, and you can search for a processor, interview them, right? So again, when it's usually live, right? You see there's one person online right now and working on a Saturday, right? For processors, this is pretty rare because most processors in the industry, they get paid hourly. They work 9 to 5. After 5 o'clock, they're gone. Before 9 o'clock, they probably don't check in. But at SMP, they are commission based. If they aren't helping us to close deals, they're not going to get paid. If our deals don't close, they don't get paid. So it is to their benefit to work when we work. And so sometimes you'll see your processor working at 10 o'clock at night, early in the morning, in the middle of the night, perhaps. So some other cool things that you can do, just like the other page, you can search, right? If you've got a VA, right? A VA loan that you're going to do. How many of these 145 can do VA, right? And then you can also search by specific lenders. If you're already planning on sending the file to a specific lender, you can search by state. So I'm in Wisconsin, so 77 are licensed here in Wisconsin. And then you can also do language, right? So you can reset them all And then so let's say you have a Spanish speaking client, right? And you want to use a Spanish speaking processor, right? So we have 12 processors that can speak Spanish and help you to, communicate more effectively with your Spanish speaking clients if that's more of their natural preferred language, right? So we can do that in here. And then we also have a tab for vendors. So if you wanted to pay for like lead gen, you want to buy leads, you want to buy marketing website, a CRM, these type of things, we have lenders who can provide these types of services, right? NEXA doesn't have a CRM. They don't offer a CRM to their loan officers by default. So you can come in here, you can pay for MLO Box. That's like a marketing platform. I believe they can help create a website for you as well. So it's kind of like a monthly fee setup thing, subscription. There's some other processing groups in here. If you don't like SMP, you can, do that. So mortgage lead hackers, some kind of lead gen business. Goat Genie is a CRM. I have not used that. Yeah, there's so many different things in here that you can find and utilize, and the support, right? Okay, so let's move on to probably a more interesting topic for many of you. How much do you get paid at NEXA, right? What's your commission plan, right? And so here is our commission chart here. And as you can see, it's priced out in bips or basis points in lender language, right? And so on the left here is our margin, right? So this is, think of it as your gross margin. And so the next column here is your compensation. And so typically at the start, it is going to be a split. So you as a loan officer, you're going to get to keep 80%. NEXA is going to keep 20%. And so 20% of that goes back, right, to keep the lights on in NEXA. And some of this, a portion of this, actually can come back to you in the form of partnership compensation or revenue share plan, right? And if you want to participate in that, we're gonna talk about a little bit about that as well. That's another revenue stream that if you choose to, you can participate in. Now, other things is that you can see that depending on how you want to do the loan for your borrower, you can either choose to broker it or you can choose correspondent lending, right? And so correspondent lending just means that on paper, NEXA is going to be the lender for your consumer. So that allows you to charge more than $275. But if you just broker a loan, right, you're just the middleman, then you can only charge a max of $275. Now, other important things is that you are free to charge less than $275. At NEXA, you're free to charge what you'd like, right? As long as you don't violate any federal pricing guidelines and you're profitable. Because if you owe money or you're negative, then you as a loan officer, you're going to have to pay for that, right? NEXA is not going to pay for that. So 2 rules at NEXA on how do you operate your business. 1, be profitable. 2, be in compliance. And those are the 2 rules. So something that I learned along the way as a brand new loan officer in this industry is that, there's the retail side, right? Working for a bank as a loan officer, right? Credit union, etc. Or being a broker, right? So if you're on the broker side, there is a lot of freedom here. So here at NEXA, you are free again to charge whatever you like as long as you're in compliance. So you have the freedom to earn as much as 2.75% potentially, or even more if you do the correspondent lending. On the retail side, something shocking, guys, is that a lot of retail folks, they only earn at most potentially 100 basis points or 1%. Now, oftentimes it's even less. It's 75 bips, right? Or 60 bips. Now, of course, on the retail side, they're also getting a base salary, right? So some kind of base salary to sit in an office all day. So it's a trade-off. If you're on the retail side, you're going to get some kind of small compensation plan, and then you get a little bit of pay on the commission on your sales volume, things like that. So you as a loan officer in the industry, you can either choose. Do you want to be that type of loan officer, or do you want to be the entrepreneur more, right? The one where you run your own business the way you want. Nobody's telling you like how much you can charge. You're free to kind of do what you want to do as long as you're in compliance, and you can charge more, right? You can earn more. That's really the biggest eye-opening thing that I saw. Being a realtor in the business, I always thought that loan officers only made 1% of the sales volume, loan volume. And so coming over to the broker side, it was really eye-opening that, wow, if you charge, 275 bips, that's nearly as much as a lot of realtors make on the deal as well. And so now if you think about the volume of business you do as a loan officer, and then the percentage, you could definitely make a lot more on the loan officer side than you can on the realtor side. So, light bulb, right? Light bulb lights up. It should for you. And so I don't know if I already mentioned this, but at NEXA, we can earn 100% of the gross margin here, and that's through the NEXA 100 plan. NEXA 100. So let's go back to NEXA 100, right? When I said that you can actually earn all of the margin, right? So you don't lose any of the split that goes to NEXA. And so let me be clear here first that actually you can't earn it as actual pay directly to you. What happens is if you qualify for NEXA 100, the split, now it goes back into another fund for you. It's called your growth and marketing ledger. So it's a fund that you can set aside, right? That you can use for your own business growth. So you can't get paid this compensation directly. It is against the law for you to get paid this directly. Okay. So make it very clear for you that for this example, if the gross is 275 and that 55 bips that the company would take, instead of the company taking that because you qualified for NEXA 100, they would actually give you that 55 bips to put into your growth and marketing ledger. So now you can use those funds to say, pay for your website, or you could pay a VA, or you could pay for marketing ads, generating ads with your local realtor partner, maybe lunch and learn, your cell phone bill, maybe new equipment, right? Maybe like a new laptop, some gear, right? For marketing, a microphone, a camera, things like that. So anything that grows your business would qualify. Some things that are a little tricky is food. Food is always a little bit tricky with the IRS. Generally, you have to document, right? So if you're going to do like a lunch and learn, you want to document like the flyer, right? You want to have the receipts, things like that, so that you can prove it in case you ever get audited. So that is how NEXA 100 commission is actually paid out to you. And again, very clear, it's not paid directly to you, right? So you can't get paid that in cold hard cash, but you do get to spend it as something else. So for example, if you want to go to a convention that's going to help grow your business, you can pay for that, right? You can pay for the flight, the hotel, all through those funds. Now, how do you actually earn it? So right now we have 3 lenders that if you were to utilize for your loans, that would qualify you for the NEXA 100 payout. So right now it's UWM, EPM, and MLB. There's going to be more added. But as you can see in these compensation columns up here, there's $2 million plus, right? So you see the broker 100, correspondent 100, and then you see the $2 million plus. So essentially what this means is for any month where you close more than $2 million in loan amount, sales volume, any loan over that $2 million mark, you're going to qualify for NEXA 100 potentially if you use any of these lenders, right? So that's one way to qualify for NEXA 100. The other way to qualify for NEXA 100 is when you first join the company. Your first 6 months, any loan you close, as long as you can close with any of these 3 lenders, it will be NEXA 100 qualified. The last way that I know of right now that you can qualify for NEXA 100 is if you choose to participate in the NEXA partnership compensation plan. So what that means is if you choose to help grow the company, right, by attracting other loan officer partners, whether they're brand new or existing loan officers, if they want to come over and you sponsor them to become loan officers at NEXA, and they are your direct recruit, right? So meaning that you actually, they list you as their sponsor. If they close a loan and they close one loan that month, you qualify for NEXA 100. So that's pretty simple. That's a pretty easy way to qualify for NEXA 100. So next thing, we'll talk about is that partnership compensation plan, right? It's optional. If you want to participate, this is a game changer that I don't know of many other mortgage brokerages that are offering this in their model. So this is very familiar in the real estate side of things, right? So there are so many copycat models of EXP that, EXP, this is something that EXP is also doing that made famous, right? So we'll talk about that here. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about how much you would earn in commission as a loan officer, right, for your own personal production, right? So to do that in this calculator here, we would just modify this number here in the green. And so let's say that you are closing $250,000 in loan amount, right, per month. So as you can see, if you're a loan officer, you're closing $250,000 in loan amount. That's essentially, depending on your market, 1 or 2 loans a month. So that would equal to you $5,500 a month. And this is as a 1099, right? So there's no taxes being considered here, things like that. You would earn $66,000 a year. So not too shabby, right? For basically 1 to 2 loans a month. Let's say that you can become a decent loan officer. You're doing about 4 or 5 now a month. So now you're doubling that. So now you can earn 6 figures. So you're earning 11 grand grand a month and $132,000 a year. This other thing down here is just to show you for demonstration purposes. If you're coming from the retail side, right? If you're coming from the retail side where you're earning only 100 bips and you come to the broker side, you're earning 220 now. You're leaving 72 grand on the table by staying in retail. Hopefully your base salary that you get is more than that 72 grand, right? If it's not, then you probably should come over to the broker side. So that's just to give you some perspective there. I mean that you come over, you could get paid a lot more. So this is 100 bips. I mean, retail, that's pretty generous. Some loan officers I talked to on the retail side, they only get 60 bips. Look at that. They're leaving a 96 grand. So that's crazy. Hopefully their base salary is significantly higher than that. But anyway, so let's now talk about, okay, so you're in the production side, you want to add some passive income, right? You want to add some revenue share income, right? So what does that look like, right? So essentially the revenue share program is when you help to grow the company, you help to grow NEXA, you talk to other loan officers that you know in the business, and whether they're new or experienced, right? You help them to come over to NEXA to partner with you, right? Name you as their sponsor. And so what that looks like is that, let's say level 1. So level 1 are the loan officers that are going to partner with you directly. Let's put in, let's say that you're able to track 5, not 50, 5, sorry. 5 loan officers, right? You're able to track 5 loan officers as your direct sponsored loan officers, right? So, and each one of these 5, they're going to average 300,000 in loan volume a month. Again, pretty doable for most loan officers. Probably, 1 to 2, maybe 3 closings a month, depending on, their market. So how much passive income would you earn? Well, essentially that becomes $1,500 a month if they can consistently close $300,000 per month in sale loan volume. And that comes out to 18 grand a year. So that may not be great for a lot of you. You might be like, that's cool. But when you really think about it, right, you stop, you think about it, how much is a phone bill these days, right? Could easily be $200, $300 if you have a family. It could also pay for other things for your business, right? So this passive revenue share could pay for your internet, could pay for marketing subscriptions, right? ChatGPT, equipment, buying leads, could pay for that. It could pay for a car. Could be a pretty nice car for $1,500. Definitely help pay your mortgage. So this is passive, guys. So that's the thing, that this is really passive income, and you're not out here trying to sell other loan officers like knives or some kind of Amway products, right? You're just earning this passively just by doing your normal loan officer work, just by talking to other loan officers and say, hey, have you ever looked at the NEXA model? Have you ever, considered coming over? Look, instead of getting paid 60 bips, you could now earn 220, guys. You're leaving 100K almost on the table, right? Come on over. They come over, but you don't just stop there. You're not just a recruiter. You're not just going to help them come in the door. You have to help them level up their business, right? You have to help them see the bigger picture, to help them also potentially participate and partner up with other loan officers they might know, right? Because what that looks like now, if they start bringing over building their own rev share, right? Bringing their own loan officers over, they duplicate what you're doing. So you have 5 in your first line, and then your second line is the loan officers that your first line brings. So if those 5 can attract simply another 10, another 2, right? 2 per each one. What's that going to look like for you? Now, all of a sudden, that $1,500 goes to $4,500, right? And this is at a very doable 1 to 2 loans a month. That assumes that all of them are closing, by the way. And that now becomes $50,000 a year. That is somebody's salary. That's somebody's salary, guys. Nothing to sneeze at. But then, of course, you also help the level 2 folks, and they see the bigger picture. They bring over another 2 for themselves, right? But notice that you can't get paid level 3 until 10 in your level 1, until 10 produce in your level 1, right? So every month, in order to unlock your level 3 payments, you have to have 10 producing your level 1. So let's say that we have 10 up there now, right? And let's say that we had the 10 here still. And so now each one of these, 10 from your level 2 bring 20, okay, total. And again, it's the same simple thing, $300,000, right? 1 to 2 loans per loan officer, right? Look at this. 12 grand a month passively that could potentially be earned by you. 144 grand a year. That's more than your production. And so, depending on how aggressive you want to be in your production, you could scale back, you could turn it up some more. You're almost knocking at 300K, right? And if you simply go up to 600,000, there you go. You're at 300K a year, 25 grand a month, right? As a LO. So you're building your active production income, and then you are also accumulating your passive revenue share income. Add them together, and you've got a machine, $300,000 total. Eventually, if you keep growing it, right, you could scale back. Now you no longer need to actually produce, right? You could just be the coach, be the mentor, help all the LOs in your organization, right? So you could do that if you wanted to. You could step away from the production and you could just live off the passive income if you really wanted to, So this is power. And the last thing I want to say is that the revenue share, right? The passive revenue share, this is paid to you in the form of an LLC. And so an LLC will continue to live on after you've died. If you, for some reason, were to pass away early, you can assign somebody to inherit your LLC. And so your family, right, your kids, your wife could continue to earn the passive income from the NEXA revenue share even after you're gone. So that's extremely powerful to building a legacy. All right, so that is a detailed breakdown on how NEXA Mortgage operates their business model, from the Zoom rooms to loan officer support, as well as all the trainings that they offer the loan officers and the university program for brand new LOs, to the compensation and the optional passive revenue share income that you can build for yourself as a loan officer. So if you have any further questions about those things, feel free to drop them in the comments and let me know, or just reach out to me. I'd be happy to discuss it with you if you have further questions, right? Because there is so much more to know, and only so much time that I can have in this video to talk to you about it. Another cool thing that I didn't mention yet about NEXA Mortgage is that they do allow you to run your own business with your own branding, your own company name, your own logo. You do not need to mention that you are, under NEXA Mortgage, right? That you're powered by NEXA Mortgage. So they do offer some support if you want to operate your business as a DBA, doing business as another entity, right? So you can feel free to build out your own brokerage under their brokerage, right? And so that is something that's really unique to NEXA. Not every single mortgage brokerage out there offers that, along with the rev share component, right? So now you can go out and partner up with more loan officers, bring them in and help you build out your own mortgage brokerage underneath the NEXA flagship. All right, so those are the details on NEXA Mortgage, the company, right? So how has my personal experience been so far at NEXA? And so I joined NEXA around February officially, right, of 2025. I've been 6 months in as a loan officer. So far to date, I've funded 5 loans, right? Which, may not be good, maybe good, I don't know. Being brand new to the industry as well, right? And so to be quite honest, I haven't done a lot of my own marketing for the loan officer business, right? A lot of my business that I've been getting is simply referrals from my other realtor partners. So again, I'm with eXp Realty. I have a group of 30 real estate agents in my rev share organization at eXp. And so another benefit of being a dual licensed professional, a lot of my agents know that now I'm a loan officer, I can help them with their clients, right? So now we can team up and they can do the realtor side, I can do the loan officer side. So that's how we can really partner up to grow our business even more. Not only that, but we're also able to keep all the business that we're generating within our own agent loan officer network, right? Because some of us are licensed loan officers, some of us are licensed realtors. So now we don't have to take our business outside of our own circle. So that is super powerful. Of course, as I mentioned before, if you're a dual licensed professional, well, you could double dip, right? So you could be the loan officer and the agent on the same deal. This is 100% legal as long as you disclose it to your clients and you are in a state that does allow it. There's only 2 states that don't allow it, so Louisiana and Utah. And then of course, both your brokerage on the mortgage side and the realty side have to allow you to do both as well. So those are some things to check. But of course, now you can go to double your income on the same transactions that you're already working. So very cool stuff. So if you currently have doubts, if you have hesitation because of the Zoom-based platform, right, you're not sure how well you would adapt to that type of learning environment, right? It does depend on the type of learner, the type of person that you are. Me personally, I don't need a lot of hand holding. I don't need somebody to be looking over my shoulder. I don't need to show up to an office to work, right? I'm a go-getter, right? Just show me what to do when I have a problem and I'm gonna go do my business, right? I don't need to report to a physical office building. I don't need to be told what to do, how to generate my business, right? I'm gonna go get that business myself. And so if you're definitely an entrepreneur mindset, a go-getter, you don't need all that extra hand holding, all that coddling. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. If the only time you come into Zoom is when you have problems, like me, then go to Zoom and ask the coach, hey coach, I'm running into this issue. How do I get around it? How do I learn, right? They're going to teach you exactly what you need to know, and boom, you're out. You don't need to show up to an office, right? Just for somebody to look at you and tell you, oh yes, great job. That's how you do it. Yep. Okay, this, that, right? Some people need it, some people don't, right? And even the LOS Zoom trainings, right? We have the live Zoom trainings. You can ask the trainer questions during the live call. Now, if you can't make the live calls, there are the recordings too, so you can watch those. And I watch a lot of the recordings because I like to go back, rewatch it, right? The parts that I need, and that's sufficient for me. But again, that's just me, right? So it kind of all depends on your learning style, what you need, right? So NEXA with the Zoom-based platform, internet-based, it may or may not be for you. Now, there is an option, possibly, depending on where you're at. If there is a branch in the area that you live in, right? If another NEXA loan officer operates a branch, then you could potentially partner up with them, join their branch. And so you would pay a small portion of your commission in bips, right? Maybe 10 bips, 15 bips, whatever, or a monthly fee. Each branch operates differently, but essentially you would get access to that office. You would get access to the branch manager, right? And any trainings, any perks, any amenities that branch offers you. So potentially, you know, if you're that person who needs a physical office to report to, that camaraderie, right? To talk to real people, right? A place to hang out the water cooler, you know, shoot the breeze, right? If that's the kind of environment you need, then look up and see if there's a branch near you. So that is also possible. So we covered earlier about all the support and training the university has for new LOs in the industry, right? Well, what about experienced LOs who maybe aren't quite top producers, right? Does NEXA offer anything for that? Well, that's a great question. And NEXA did just recently launch the PATH program, right? So these programs are for experienced loan officers, maybe retail loan officers, right? That aren't yet, you know, established in the brokerage world, right? Or maybe they're not quite top producers yet if they're already in the brokerage world. So if you fit and you fall into this category, you want to elevate your business to the next level, well, then you can join the PATH program, right? Will you be assigned a coach? Very similar to the university, right? But it's more of an advanced coaching program. And again, very similar, right? You'll pay your coach a small portion of your commission, and they'll help you to grow your business. And then once you get to a certain point, you can leave the program. And basically, that's a great way for you to grow and level up. Okay, so hopefully this video has helped cleared up the decision for you whether NEXA Mortgage might be a good fit for you as a loan officer or not. So if you're kind of looking for a more structured organization, right? Something with more rigorous training, more like hand-holding type of thing, NEXA might not be for you, right? Because at NEXA, our organization basically is just loan officers, and then we report directly to the CEO. So there's no middle management. There's really not anybody that's looking over our shoulders at all times and telling us what we need to be working on or what we need to be doing, right? Of course, we also don't have that cushy, comfy weekly salary. So if that's something you're looking for, then NEXA is not that place, right? Or if you're expecting a constant guaranteed lead flow of clients, right? Walking through the door, walk-ins, sorry. NEXA might not be that either, because we don't have the physical office buildings, right? We're not going to have walk-ins for you, right? I mean, there's potential for that if you either start your own branch or you join a branch, right, that has an office. Well, yeah, certainly you can have walk-ins for that opportunity if you wanted to, but it's not the norm. Of course, there are people with certain attributes and characteristics that would excel at NEXA better than others, right? And that would mean the people who are more of the entrepreneurial spirit, right? The people who aren't afraid to take action, to do what's required to get the business, right? To generate leads, to take action whether you fail or you succeed. As long as you learn and you're willing to grow, the people who understand that the success, the production in your business is directly related to the amount of effort that you put in. Because at the end of the day, this loan officer business, it's your business. It's not NEXA's. NEXA is not generating those leads for you. It's you who's going to be generating those leads. It's you who's going to be closing those leads, right? However, NEXA will be there to support you. And there is so much support here at NEXA, from the coaches to the LOs, AEs, right? We have so much support, guys. It's all available for you if you're willing to tap in and use it. And of course, the technology here at NEXA, it's amazing. The LOS, the Zoom-based, we can work from anywhere in the world, essentially, right? And NEXA is going to be rolling out Loan Officer AI tool. I can't wait to see what that's going to do and how it's going to help us to change our business and help us to work smarter, right? So I'll release a future video about that. That's going to be released pretty soon here, I believe, at NEXA Fest coming up October 1st to the 4th in Dallas, Texas area. if you're available, if you're in that area and you want to come out and check it out, NEXA Fest, let me know. Hit me up in the DMs, send me a message. You can be my free guest to attend. So I'll do a video about that. I can't wait to attend NEXA Fest to see what goes down over there. But hopefully this video makes it clear for you whether or not NEXA might be a good fit. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. This video is a little bit longer than I thought it would be, but hopefully it gives you the value and the information that you need. If you found it valuable, I would really appreciate if you give me some feedback. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment. If you don't like it, then yeah, don't tell me. But stay tuned, hit that like button, that subscribe button, so you can be alerted of future videos just like this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.